I don't want to have Botox, I don't want to have filler, I don't want to have a facelift. I'm enjoying my grey hairs.
Well, Jamila, you are sitting here with dyed hair and a pound of makeup on your face, preaching about being natural. That's silly, no?
I do want to point out something, that he came in and Obama left him quite well off, left the nation well off. And Biden also left the country very well off. See, folks have to remember, you know, we are very fickle in this country. We forget, you know, you can be mad at one side or the other, but you have to stick with the facts. And the facts are, we left good stuff. He has pooped on it.
Right.
He has now taken us to a place where people are just being removed.
Illegals, Whoopi, when you say people are being removed, they are illegal immigrants and they are being deported. But about the timeline you just provided on the state of immigrants under the last 3 presidents, yes, Obama left him well off. He deported more illegals than Trump. And I don't think we're supposed to mention that. But the same trend continued under Trump's first term, and then Biden got in. He got in, opened the borders, and we saw the highest number of border crossings in US history under his watch. And now Trump is cleaning that up. That is the actual timeline, okay? So I find it ironic when you say, we forget what happened and we need to stick with the facts, while at the same time you rely on selective memory and you distort the facts.
That image of a tattoo reading MS-13 was photoshopped.
Obviously photoshopped.
And it's done, it's quite obviously photoshopped.
He was not briefed that that is not a real image and that it was photoshopped.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
He doesn't even recognize his own fake images at this point.
Joy, Whoopi. No one has said that it's not photoshopped. The MS-13 text was added as a translation of the actual tattoo symbols right below it.
Him tweeting out an AI-created image and the White House official account of him posing as the Pope is disrespectful, it is frankly disgusting, and it is outrageous. And so all of those devout Catholics that voted for Donald Trump, I think you need to ask yourself some questions, and I think you need to ask the White House and Donald Trump some questions, because Trump, Mr. President, it's his holiness, the Pope, not his oiliness, the dope.
And you're a sanctimonious joke. But look, the bigger picture is right here in my pocket, and I will pull it out. This is Rihanna dressed as a pope. Olympics 2024, mocking Jesus Christ's last meal. Over here, camera, over here. Don't run, because Trump only posted a meme. But these are actual photos, and I don't see that same energy of yours, Anna, when it comes to Hollywood actually mocking God. This is Madonna on a cross as Jesus Christ.
We'll be right back.
I did Finding Your Roots, as a lot of people know.
I did too.
Yeah, and I found out some things.
They found brunette, by the way.
Yeah, they did. And a part that we did not air is that my father found out that the man he thought was his father was not his biological father.
When did he find out?
He found out during the taping. He was there with
well,
me.
just for the record, Sonny, you also found out that your ancestors owned the slaves. And I believe you talked about it on the show at some point, but I wasn't here. So now that we're all here, you have constantly argued that white people today should pay reparations for slavery, even though they had no part in it, and that many of their ancestors never owned the slaves. But now we know that your ancestors owned the slaves. So speaking your language and holding your own standards, you have a net worth of $6 million. And if you spend only 1% of it for reparations, which would be $60,000, you can pay $1,000 to 60 black people each And although $1,000 is not a lot of money, I think it's enough for you to be a role model of what you preach. So I think now would be the perfect time. I can already see black people in the audience. So go ahead, pay your reparations. I'm sure they take PayPal or Venmo.
If we know these drugs work well, if we know they're going to help people get to where they need to be in order to eat better, to move better, why wouldn't they be available for everyone? Because they keep saying, we want to make America healthy again. But then you put stuff out of reach of people and you make it impossible. Why?
Because they think it's life choices. They think that being heavy, being overweight is because you eat too much. The new research is showing that it has to do with your brain. And this particular drug changes something in your brain so that you don't want to eat the whole pizza.
Well, I say it differently. Look, in the 60s, around 13% of US adults were obese. Now it's at 42%. Of course, due to poorer diet and less activity, and those are life choices. But when we have these conversations, for some reason, we don't want to talk about that. I don't know, maybe it's offensive or my body, my choice or whatever, but just give me the drugs. Don't tell me not to go full whoopee on that pizza. Just give me the drugs. And that right there just doesn't sit right with me. And we don't even know the long-term effects of these drugs. So I think we should look at our problems in the mirror whoopee, and try to deal with them without the drugs.
I would offer specific evidence, if we had time, exactly what I got done when I was supposedly lost my cognitive capability.
I'm sorry, you mean what the autopen controlled by others in the White House got done when you lost your cognitive capability, but go ahead.
You know, one of the things that well, I shouldn't say it. Anyway, I can be short.
No, go ahead, we have time.
I'm actually interviewing for a job as a cameraman.
Okay, good luck with that.
How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best healthcare in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world?
Yeah.
Did you get any of that?
Anyway.
That was great. We're going to take a break.
What is crazy to me is that you are the only female late night talk show host.
Wow. Well, I was saying earlier, I'm like, this is the dumbest glass ceiling of all time, but like, I'm happy to be there. But also, guys, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I just feel like the moment we've moved past it. We got to get some ladies more ladies in late night.
Well, Busy, first of all, good luck with your new show. I'm not sure how it's doing since there's no reported metrics, probably because the audience is too small to register on industry radar. But it's not a glass ceiling. It's a viewership floor. Nobody's blocking women from hosting late night, just like nobody is stopping WNBA. The talent is there, but the ratings have left the chat. So if women-led shows pulled good numbers, they would be everywhere. But it doesn't, which is why your last show was canceled after 6 months due to low ratings.
You know who issued an executive order aimed at lowering drug costs. He didn't specify which drugs he's going to target or which insurance programs would be impacted. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, let me just go back, Whoopi. Bringing down the price of drugs is an issue that even Democrats, your side, have been running on for years. Meaning Republicans, Democrats, everyone in the country, including every single one of you in your audience, you want this. And the fact that even when a Trump policy directly benefits you, you cry about it, you condemn it, well, it doesn't make any sense. Out of sheer hatred for the man is utterly astonishing, to be honest with you, and I think it should be studied by psychologists, because this is a mental issue.
We'll be right
men's aging faces are considered dignified and sexy, and they have salt and pepper hair. When do you ever hear women described as having salt and pepper hair?
You know what? Women can do whatever they want to make themselves look better. What's wrong with that?
But there's a culture in thinking that that's what looks better specifically on women. We shoot men in high definition, and we make women airbrush like emojis. And so I don't like that. I don't want to have Botox. I don't want to have filler. I don't want to have a facelift. I'm enjoying my grey hairs.
Well, Jamila, you are sitting here with dyed hair and a pound of makeup on your face, preaching about being natural. That's silly, no?
And my other question is, why is this important to know now? We got a lot of stuff to be concerned about at the moment.
When is Jake Tapper going to write a book about the cognitive decline of the person who is in charge right now?
Okay, so Joy, when you do the "but the other guy" thing, you need to at least have a legitimate point, just so you don't sound ridiculous. Trump is cognitively sharper than everyone at this table combined. And trust me, my presence here is the only thing pulling up the average. But to your question, Whoopi, why is this important now? Well, you and your side keep screaming, no one elected Elon Musk. Which is a ridiculous thing to say, since the president, Trump, put him in charge of cutting wasteful spending. But even if we take your no one elected Elon Musk serious, you're basically saying that you care about democracy. You don't want people who are not elected to run the country, which I understand and I agree with. But if you're consistent with your logic, then you should also have a problem with the reality of Biden's handlers, including an autopen, not elected by the people of this country, running the country while Joe Biden was checked out. But you don't have a problem with that. You say it's not important. So either you are fine with unelected handlers running the country as long as they are on your side, or the more likely option is that you're cherry picking your principles to fit your narrative, which is why your credibility has been declining way faster than Biden's cognition.
South African President Ramaphosa paid a visit to the White House yesterday, which turned into a surprise presentation on conspiracy theories of a white genocide in his country. There is crime, as there is all over the world, but it is not about killing off white people. This is just straight up bull.
Well, Whoopi, I find it interesting that you and your producer cut out the clips that Trump showed to South Africa's president, but it's your lucky day. I got a couple of my own. You always make me pull it out, you know that, right? But it's okay. So let's take a look here.
Shoot to kill. Hamasa. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer. Brr, pa. Pa. Brr, pa. Pa. Okay, shoot.
Brr pa. Kill the boer, kill the farmer. And weirdly, 90% of the farmers in South Africa are white. So tell me what that means. And by the way, I wonder what will happen if a group of people in US sing something like that about certain group of people in US. But this is the current president in South Africa, the one that just met with Trump.
The land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now. The question of land.
I wonder whose land should to... Stop. I wonder whose land he's talking about that he wants to take without compensation. But again, that's for you to find out about.
We'll be right back.
77% of Americans in 2023 said Joe Biden was too old to run again. And they were told, sit down, shut up, he is the nominee. And then when it became untenable and he stepped aside.
Wait, Alicia, when Americans were watching Joe barely being able to walk and put a sentence together, every single one of you at this table were telling them not to believe what they can see and what they can hear. You and your friends in the media constantly rejected those concerns as disinformation and cheap fakes. Remember that one, Joy? Cherry-picked clips to mislead the people? You said that. Sonny, you even said those concerns were rooted in ageism. Just like how you connect everything to sexism and racism. You're a race hustler, you know that, right? So, when you say Americans who noticed his decline were told to sit down and shut up, just for the record, you too were doing the telling.